Each game one of the 2022 NBA playoffs is in the book, and there's plenty to talk about. Matt, I got a very simple question for you here out the gate. Who made the biggest statement, team or player, in game one of these playoffs?
I mean, it's got to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, after all the hate they got for celebrating the win in the play-in, everybody's talking about, all of this, expecting them to come in and lose to Memphis, who has really been one of the hottest teams in the NBA this year.
Definitely.
Finished the season so strong. For them to come in and play in such dominant fashion, and for Anthony Edwards to have such an amazing playoff debut. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, who technically should be the star of that team, had 29 points, and I didn't even think about it because Anthony Edwards had 36 and was absolutely electric.
Sensational.
This was such an amazing move. I still think Memphis is going to win this series, but the fact that they were able to go into Memphis and split this, they're going to head back to Minnesota, split at least 1-1 or maybe up 2-0. That first game in Minneapolis is going to be electric. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait to watch that. And this Timberwolves team has definitely made a statement that you got to pay attention to them this season and next season.
100%. Yeah, the T-Wolves definitely made a statement to America that, they weren't just a team high off or, cool with winning a play-in game or getting to the playoffs. They're here to make some noise and give Memphis a run for their money. So Minnesota's a great pick. But for me, it's a couple young stars. And showing everybody that why the future of the NBA is so great. Talking about Jordan Poole, Tyrese Maxey. I'll start with Poole, who dropped a 30-piece, 5 threes. And this man is officially a Splash Brother. If he wasn't already, if you didn't know, Jordan Poole is officially a Splash Brother. And he's going to continue to get good looks with defenses focusing on Steph, on Clay, with Draymond Green, continuing to feed him and give him good looks. So if he can continue to shoot the ball like this, the Warriors are going to give the Suns a run for their money in the Western Conference. I think the Warriors are absolutely, at this point, live to appear in the NBA Finals. I also got to talk about Tyrese Maxey, who dropped 38 and also 5 threes in the Sixers' big win over the Raptors in Game 1. I mean, he was absolutely spectacular. He looked like the best player on the court with Joel Embiid and James Harden. I think at this point, 76ers got to, if Joel Embiid is getting the first touch, which he is most of the time, number 2 option at this point, damn near got to be Tyrese Maxey. Let James Harden play point guard, let him be the facilitator, and I think that's going to bode well. I mean, again, defenses are going to focus on Embiid. They're going to, have, their eyes on Harden as he brings the ball up the court most of the time, but Maxey and Poole give those respective teams just a different lift. And it wouldn't surprise me if both of those guys are a big reason why their teams appear in a conference championship game. Both of those guys are young as hell, too. I believe Poole is 22, Maxey is 21, and obviously you could throw Ant in their conversation as well, making his playoff debut at 21, 22 years old. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
I think Ant would probably take the cake if we're comparing those 3, but how about Maxey and Poole? Both around the same age, moving forward, shining in their playoff debut. Who would you take moving forward?
It's tough because I think Maxey has really come on towards the end of the season. Poole has been electric basically since the start of this season. I think Maxey, because of his ability to be an all-around player as far as being somebody that can help you on defense a little bit more than probably Poole would be, it makes me want to lean towards Maxey, but when Jordan Poole is taking the same shots that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson make, and making those shots, it makes you wonder, man, he might just take over once Steph retires at some point. He may become that Splash Brother and run and do the same thing. So it's so close. I think I lean more towards Maxey, but I'll say this. Anthony Edwards, there was a lot of debate over whether he or LaMelo should have been Rookie of the Year going 1 and 2. That conversation has absolutely stayed wide open. Anthony has really stepped up. He's so exciting to watch. And although I still think Memphis has the overall better team, and that's going to end up pushing them in a tight series, when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards, he's going to be able to make shots. He's going to step up for you late. And I absolutely need Anthony Edwards in the playoffs every year from now on
Yeah.
because it's just so much fun to watch.
100%. A couple good tidbits in there. A couple of things I wanted to touch on. I don't know how Jordan Poole wasn't a finalist for Most Improved Player of the Year. This man was in the G League last season, for crying out loud, dropping 30 points in his playoff debut. Probably the second option offensively for the Warriors now at this point, a team who could likely win the Western Conference. And I'm glad you brought up Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, in that comparison with the number 1 pick in the draft a couple years ago. I had to apologize because I was very adamant that the Minnesota Timberwolves made a mistake passing over LaMelo Ball, drafting obviously Anthony Edwards. But that was a mistake on my part because those two, again, it's really, splitting hairs between those two talents. But I thought that there was a sizable gap in favor of LaMelo Ball. That sizable gap doesn't exist. Those two are neck and neck. And at this point, with the playoff experience, Ant might have the edge at this point. And I'll ask one more question before we get out of here.
Let's do it.
You like the Grizzlies to win that series? How far do you see that one going?
It feels like it's going to go 7 at this point.
It does.
I mean, and part of it now is simply because Minnesota was able to, end the home court advantage for Memphis.
Yeah.
If you watch that play-in game against the Clippers, Minneapolis was electric.
It was.
This is a fan base that is hungry to get some success in the playoffs. This is a team that wants to give that to them. They can match Memphis's speed, their youth, their athleticism, and that hunger that you see that Memphis team play with. They can match that. Then you come back to Minneapolis and you have that fan base behind you, that crowd.
Target Center going to be rocking.
It's going to be so much fun. And so it's going to go 7. And at that point, I still give the edge a little bit to Memphis because I think they're a little bit more experienced. But I mean, it's hard. It is going to be exciting to see. And if Ant's going to, average 36 points a game, I mean, if he's going to put up 30 every night, that's hard to beat.
100%. Yeah, I can't wait to see how that one plays out. I agree. I think the Grizzlies, their depth is going to end up being a little bit too much in this series. And also, too, Jaren Jackson Jr. got in foul trouble in Game 1. I think he'll be able to stay on the court a little bit more as this series progresses because, again, he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, whether he was a finalist or not. So he's going to have a big impact. And I don't know, it remains to be seen if Cat can continue to play how he did in Game 1 throughout the rest of the series. I expect Ant to continue to ball, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Let us know who made the biggest statement to you in Game 1 in the comments. That's going to do it for us. For Scott Proctor, my guy Matt Morris right here. Catch us on tomorrow's episode of Simple Question. We'll be talking about the NFL Draft a little bit.